So welcome back, guys. Let's start from the point where we stopped in the previous part of the same lecture. So the next one, he's asking for check the head of WTI. If you remember, when we read the data frames, we read all these data frames individually. So he's asking to display the head of data frame WTI. So WTI dot head, a very simple thing. Here we have the head of our data frame. Set WTI column from value to oil price per barrel. So we have value here. We need to set the value to oil price per barrel. Once again, a very simple way to do this thing. WTI dot columns and pass in the list that we want. Oil price per barrel. And then check the head of the data frame in the same column. WTI dot head. And run this cell. Here we have changed the name from value. All stocks went down between 2008 and 9. Once again, should be very simple. Hint is again subplots. So we have already done the similar stuff in this question. So let's move on, and the syntax will be fig and axis equal to plt dot subplots, and pass in, instead of columns we need 1 and 2 rows here, and rows equal to 2. Let's set the fig size once again 10 and 6. And another thing you notice here, you don't have the axis for the top plot, so he's sharing the axis here. If you press shift tab, you see a couple of options, and rows and calls share x, share y. So he's sharing x axis, and default value is false. Let's copy and paste here and set it to true. So we need to grab WTI and its column oil price barrel. So let's copy this one here and then call plot here, and we want to put axis equal to axis at 0 index, and USO, grab the close column because this is the close price, and call plot and pass in the axis AX equal to axis at 1 index. Let's run this cell, and here we have 2 plots. One thing you may notice that these plots are different from the output which is required. Like the second one is okay, but the first one is reversed. Let's turn this share axis off and see what is the reason. If we rerun this cell after turning the share axis off, we see that for the WTI, plot starts from 2016 and ends at 2007. Whereas for USO, the plot starts from 2006 and end at 2016. So for WTI, we need to reverse this order here. So a simple way to do this thing is, instead of passing oil price as a column, we can grab everything and from -1. So we can grab the values of oil price per barrel from end to the first. So let's rerun this cell and see how this is working. And here we have changed the order for WTI in this plot. And now let's turn this share X true as well and rerun this cell. So if you notice, another thing is missing here, USA stock close. So the label for the second plot is missing. We can simply pass in label equal to USO stock close and then call plt dot legend and rerun this cell, and here we have the same output. Now we got the same plots what is required in the output. So moving forward, create a new empty data frame called profit. Calculate profit or return on investment. Use this formula. The hint is we are going to use pandas built-in pct underscore change method on close column with the for loop. So the first thing what we need to do is to create an empty data frame. Let's call returns equal to pd dot data frame. Let's start by calculating return for a single company here. Let's grab RBC. So our new column RBC return is going to be, grab the close column from RBC and call pct underscore change, and let's display the head of the data frame. Dot head. This should be in quotes, and this one as well, and let's run this cell. So there's a spelling mistake. Let's copy this returns, paste them here so that we get the same spelling here. Let's rerun this cell, and here we have a new data frame with the RBC returns, a single column. So we want a data frame with returns for each company. So let's use the for loop as suggested. We can use a list of tickers here. So for tick in tickers. We don't need to initialize this tickers list because we have already initialized this list in the previous tasks. Now instead of RBC, we can call tick with plus sign, add a white space here, and instead of RBC here, once again tick. This should be for. So what we are going to do, we are using list of tickers in the for loop and creating column for each ticker in our data frame. Let's rerun this cell, and here we have a new data frame returns which has RBC return, CIBC return, PMO, Suncor, Encana, and CNQ returns. And date is our index column. First row is NAN. Can you explain why? It should be very simple here. If you look at this formula, we have PF minus PI. So the final price minus initial price. So for the first day, we don't have the initial price. So this is why the values are NAN. So let's move on to the next task. Create a pair plot using Seaborn of your returns data frame. Once again, should be very simple here. Call SNS dot pair plot and pass in returns. Let's run this thing first and see what we are going to get. So we got this error. The error is because we have a row with NAN values. We need to deal with this NAN row. So we can skip this first row. We can start from 1 till the end and rerun this cell. So here we have the same pair plot. Now we are skipping the first row, which is NAN in our data frame, and we are not getting error in our pair plot. You can notice some trends in your data set here. So let's move on to the next one. What is the best single day gain and the worst single day gain? Use IDX max and IDX min. This should be pretty simple. You have data frame returns, and you need to call IDX max and run this cell. And here we have the output. The RBC got maximum return on 13/10/2008. Encana got the maximum return on 24th of February 2016. So the next one, he's asking for the minimum single day drop. So that should be simple again, returns and call IDX min here because we want the minimum value. So let's run this cell, and here we have the RBC minimum return was on 20th/11/2008. Encana got the minimum one on 9th of December 2009, and so on. So we got the same output here. Moving forward, which stock would be classified as the riskiest over the entire time period? The hint is look at the standard deviation of the returns. Once again, a very simple task. Grab the data frame and call standard deviation on that data frame. So returns.std and run this cell. And here we have the standard deviation for RBC return, standard deviation for CIBC, BMO, Suncor, Encana, and CNQ. So Encana is the one who has the maximum standard deviation, 0.29. After Encana, there is CNQ. So bigger the standard deviation is, the riskiest the company stock would be. So Encana is the one which can be classified as the riskiest one over the time period. So moving forward, which stock do you think was the riskiest for the year 2007, and how this changes for 2016? Now we have to grab the dates for 2007 and 2016. We can get the slice of the data frame using IX here. So our data frame is once again returns, and we can call IX and pass in the slice we want. We want 2007 from 0101 to 2007 1230. And to see the riskiest factor, we need to call std. So std here and run this cell. So we see the output is slightly different. I have just confirmed from the solution notebook this is actually 2008 instead of 2007. So let's pass in 2008 here and rerun this cell. And here we have the same output. Sorry for this typing error here. Actually, this is 2008. So if we look at the standard deviations, the maximum one is for CNQ 0.54. So in 2008, CNQ was the riskiest one. Let's grab 2016 data here. So returns dot ix, pass in the dates we want, 2016 from 01 till 2016 12/30th and call std here. So this code should be in this cell here, and let's rerun this cell. Here we have 0.1313122046 and 27. If you notice, the standard deviation for CNQ changed from 0.054 to 0.027. So they improved a lot, and they are no more riskiest in 2016. However, if you notice in Encana, it moved from 0.04 to 0.046. So in 2016, the Encana was the riskiest one. We can say that Encana could not hold and got very risky in 2016. Let's move on to the next one and create some dist plots. So we have to create the dist plot for CNQ and Encana returns. Once again, it should be simple because we have already done such plots 2 times in the previous tasks. So the syntax is fig axis, call plt.subplots, pass in n calls. We have 1 and 2 columns. Let's set the fig size to 12 and 6, and then call cbon sns dot dist plot, grab returns, and the dates are in 2008. We can use ix to get the slice 2008 01 01 to 2008 12 30th, and put the quotes here. And which return we want for these dates? On our dist plot, we want CNQ and Encana. So Encana return, and we want to put this dist plot on our axis at 0 index. So axis at 0 index, and let's copy this line of code and paste it here, and instead of Encana we want CNQ. So this should be CNQ because on the first column at 0 index he is putting CNQ, and in the second one at index 1 he is putting Encana. Let's just give a quick look on the code so that we don't get any error. So fig axis, this should be PLT. Subplots, number of columns 2, we want figure size 12:6. SNS dist plot returns, and grabbing the slice here, and this should be AX equal to 0, and this one as well, AX equal to 1. And let's run this cell here, and here we have the CNQ return on our left and Encana return on our right. So the plots are slightly different. If you notice, we have different axes along Y. So in these plots, we are sharing a Y axis. And the other thing is, bin size is different and the color is different. So for CNQ, the color is red, and bin are 50. So for CNQ, the color is blue actually. And for Encana, color is red, and we have bins equal to 50. And in this line of code, we need to share Y, set it true, and another thing we notice here, 0.3, 0.2, minus 0.2 and 0.15, 0.3, 0.2, minus 0.3 and 0.2. So we need to share X as well. Share X true, and let's rerun this cell. This should be share X and share Y, and rerun this cell. So here we have the same plots for CNQ return and for Encana return. It looks like the lecture is getting long. Let's split it here, and we will start from the same point in the next part of the lecture. See you in the next part of the same lecture. Good luck.